What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin. I'm a bit late on this news. Been about 4 days ago. I believe it happened Tuesday. Tuesday was the game where Kobe became the all-time leader in missed shots, and that's a record you don't want to have. But he did get it. He passed John Havlicek. John Havlicek was at 13,417. Kobe passed him at 13,418. This was Tuesday against the Memphis Grizzlies, matter of fact. He's played a couple games after that. What really got me thinking about it was looking at last night's game against the Spurs. And if you did watch that game, he shot horribly. Hell, you can go look at the box scores. I mean, by no shape or form is 1 of 14 good. That's 7%. And just the amount of shit. Yeah, I guess it's just the people I'm following on Twitter. What the amount of shit that Kobe gets, especially after a game like that, and also, he's been one of the more talked about things because of the record this week. I had to do a video. I was gonna do a video Tuesday, but I really have to do one now after seeing last night's game. Putting into context, Kobe. As a matter of fact, you really can't. Kobe's an all-time great. I can definitely agree with that. The number he's sitting at now after tonight's game, though, I have that pulled up, 13,452. He's missing shots at. He did it in less games, as a matter of fact. It was at 1,200. He broke the record at 1,251. John Havlicek took 1,270. So he broke that record in less games. And this year, the pace he's been going at, man, I don't see anyone even coming close to that record. I don't see anyone coming close to that record. I mean, he's gonna end up becoming the most in attempts and shot attempts. I believe he's third or fourth in attempts. I know Jordan's second. I believe Kareem is number one. So Kobe's either third or fourth. And with the way he's shooting, the misses are just gonna keep piling up. And obviously, he's gonna add to that record because you take shots, you're gonna miss shots, and at this point in his career, he's mainly a jump shooter. Really doesn't have the explosive ability to get to the rim like he normally, like he could in the past. That's gone. Ability to consistently get to the rim, gone. And I can say, well, yeah, his team is bad. They're 1-8. Only win coming against the Bobcats. So, they have been struggling. I can agree with that. But that's no excuse to be taking 37 shots in a game, which was a game earlier this year. I believe it was 14 or 37. There's no excuse to be taking that many shots. Honestly, you're not going to win very many games when you take that many shots. And, you got to give your guys a chance. You gotta give your guys a chance. They're NBA players too. You gotta give them a chance. Taking 40 shots at this point in his career, I don't think we'll ever taking 28 to 30 shots a game does not help your team, especially at this point in his career when he's mainly a jump shooter. Most of his shots are heavily contested. He makes some tough shots, but he also misses a lot of those shots. And at this point, you really don't expect him to change. He had the tail end of his career. He played this way for such a long time. You do not expect him to change. He probably won't. He won't. He'll have his games where he'll become more of the facilitator. I think he needs to be that guy instead of being that guy who thinks he can shoot his way to a win, or what he's probably really doing is, he knows he has that shot record despite what he says. He knows that record is coming. He knows that record was there and that he was about to pass it. The record he cares about. He doesn't care about becoming an all-time points leader because that won't happen. it's gonna take a while for people to pass Kareem. He wants to become number 3 on the all-time scoring list behind Jordan. And what honestly surprised me about sports media was they talked about it. ESPN talked about it. You had other sports outlets talk about it. But that's what surprised me, because a guy like Kobe is so heavily glorified by the mass media, and as he should be. I mean, he's an all-time great. He's had some big games, some big performances, but a lot of times when things like that happen, it's usually glossed over. It's usually glossed over. It reminds me of the ESPN article, which it's still there, difficult to find. Hell, it was difficult to find when it first came out, and this was the Clutch article. Can't remember by who, but it was the Clutch article talking about how clutch Kobe is, or pretty much an article, not clutch. And I first saw that article looking on Twitter, and I had people talking about it, and I was surprised the ESPN guy made an article like this, because we all knew that Kobe misses a lot of those shots. But the general consensus, the media has perpetuated, was that Kobe, 5 rings, 81 points. A guy with 5 rings has to be clutch, and that's what most people believe without actually looking up, is he really clutch or not? And that's one of the things, and it wasn't reported that much. The article did not circulate very well. It wasn't really talked about because it didn't fit their agenda. And where all this hate comes from Kobe, it's not Kobe himself. It's partially due to him, because he feeds that. Some of the things that he said, he feeds that, but it's been the media. The media has made, sports media, or media in general, has made you dislike so many people, especially when you're talking about basketball, football. It has made you dislike so many players, because usually when it's a team sport, such as basketball and football, and they say the reason that this team won was because of this player, and this player alone is the reason they won. And when they lose, not the player that they say was the guy, everybody else lost. They lost him that game. And I think that's where most of the dislike for Kobe comes from. It's come from the media, and a lot of the fans, hardcore fans, maybe the Kobe fans, have really not helped in terms of the perception. And the ESPN, they're the worst at it. That they know they got fans like that, and whenever a topic with Kobe comes up, especially on that shit show First Take, they're gonna get ratings. They talk about Kobe. They talk about they don't bring the truth when they're talking about a specific subject. They bring what the stands want to hear. 5 rings, 81 points. He's about to pass Jordan in points. The only player with 30,000 points. Was it 30,000 points, 6,000 assists, and 6,000 rebounds, or something like that? That's what they want to talk about. They don't want to bring in the negatives. Every player has their negatives. You can even point out Jordan's or any other guy's negatives. It's just, when they talk about Kobe, he's always being compared to an all-time great, which he is all-time great. It's just the way he has some of the worst fans, and honestly, the media is the most to blame, more so than Kobe will ever be. But pretty much that's all I want to talk about. Let me know what you think about this. what do you think about Kobe becoming the all-time shots missed? It's obviously an infamous record. It's a record no player wants to have. I don't give a damn what they say. They don't want to be associated with being an all-time bricklayer. But like I said, let me know what you think down in the comment section about this Kobe becoming the all-time missed shots leader. Of course, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.